Hello there. My name is Moira with my co-host Corey. We are The Real Guys, and this is The Real Show with 2 E's. Today we're following up on a 10 reel film, the sequel series to a 10 reel film. But as always, I'm calling my co-host Corey. How are you doing today, Corey?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
If you listen to our little intro, you will know that the film this sequel series is of earned the coveted 10 reels on The Real Show. It's
Correct.
a big milestone. Not everything's got it. We're very selective with our 10 reels, aren't we, Corey? Only School of Rock, Rogue One,
yes,
big names have gotten the 10
reels.
reels.
This is the second. Willow was the technically second George Lucas involved thing. Visions
Lucas
did get
film.
a 10.
Visions did
Lucas
get a 10.
Wasn't really involved with that. However, Lucas was heavily involved in Willow.
It's the Lucasfilm projects that always get 10 reels for some reason. But we've only given it away. Obviously, spoilers are ahead.
Yes.
For Disney Plus's Willow series.
The TV series.
The TV series, the sequel series to the famous 1980s Willow. Corey loved the film.
I absolutely adored the film.
He was ranting and raving about it. He loved the effects, loved the characters, loved the fantasy world. We returned to the fantasy world with Willow Ufgood and the band of heroes to defeat an ancient evil enemy. Take us into it, Corey.
Yeah, so I said at the end of Willow the film that...
our review of Willow the film, Corey wasn't actually in it.
Yes, I wasn't even born.
No.
That when I watch a series, what I want is something fun, something light-hearted. I want really bad CGI, done on purpose, because Willow had that in the 80s, and
it's CGI.
It looks weirdly charming, and I want that, nice charming aesthetic. And I want little throwbacks, references, right? Always like little stuff, little Easter eggs from the old film and whatever. And you kind of get that, and the first episode's full of a chunk of that.
Yes.
Now, this probably won't end up being linear. We always kind of start it that way.
Yeah,
and it always end up just divulging into random stuff.
And this also won't be a first episode review, as we often do.
It's a whole series.
This is a whole series review.
Whole series in 40 minutes. So very quick, very choppy.
Yeah, choppy. Just what we liked, what we didn't like.
Exactly.
The characters that were fun, the characters that weren't fun, things that we thought were funny.
Because I went into this with not high expectations, because all I had seen, bearing in mind when we did Willow the film, this series was done. We binge watched the whole thing. And so all I had seen about the TV series is it's bad, it's awful, it's like 5-star on IMDb or whatever, it's everywhere, it's awful. And I was like, oh God. I actually quite like this series. And that seems to be a thing with, what was it we reviewed? Like Rings of Power was heavily slated.
Rings of Power was heavily slated as well.
So it's awful, it's the worst Tolkien thing.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings,
But I actually quite enjoyed Willow, unlike other people. But I thought it was good. It was good to see everyone again. Obviously, Walt Davis is back.
Walt Davis is back, yes.
Pretty much the only returning character, except for what's her name?
The Queen's daughter, Saoirse, yes. Also returns. That actress comes back. Unfortunately, Val Kilmer couldn't return. Do you know why?
Yes, he has
Cancer.
illness. Or something,
yes, he has quite.
Yeah, so there's no. Well, actually, Mad Mardigan technically is in this.
Mad Mardigan, yes, but voiced by his son.
Yes, which is fair enough. I like it when they do that.
Yeah, of course. People obviously, his characters turn up in Top Gun as well.
Yeah.
But doesn't have much scenes and was voiced by an AI.
Yeah. But essentially you got them two, and it's completely, starts off 20 years afterwards.
Yeah. We get a nice recap of the first of the film, so you know what happened. And then they bring us right into the future with a new set of characters.
Completely new characters.
Well, actually, a character does return from the film, but no longer a baby, Elora Danan. We find that her powers, she wasn't ready to be trained by Willow yet.
No.
Saoirse was too afraid that Bavmorda's power would be too strong, and Elora Danan wouldn't be able to fully master her abilities.
Yes. Even
though Queen Bavmorda was vanquished.
Correct. And Willow
is hidden away, and the mystery is who is Elora Danan. Did you believe first that it was perhaps Jade, which was? He's getting his notebook out, ladies and gentlemen. For those people who aren't watching our video version, Corey's now referring to his notes. So he said when he's watched all of them, he has now seen them all.
First episode, right? Episode 1.
We open on Jade. In fact, we open on Jade. I believe that's the red herring, the red-haired herring.
Well, that's the thing. Because it is mentioned.
Was that intended to be intentional?
Yes, because in the flashback in, I think, episode 2, Willow's like, last time I saw you had red hair. And it's been dyed blonde.
Dyed blonde, yeah, but the red hair does return throughout the series.
I would assume so.
On Ellie Bamba.
I didn't really know who it was straight away. Right. However, as soon as in the first episode, when Dove is running around and he has like his arm sleeves on.
Yeah.
Like, you're just wearing 2 arms that aren't connected to like a dress. It's just 2 arm sleeves.
You're just wearing arm sleeves.
I'm like, yeah, it's you, because you're going to have your arm sleeve pulled down and it's going to have the mark there. I was kind of correct.
Oh, because you knew exactly almost what would happen.
Yeah, because if it does get pulled down, there isn't a mark. Willow then has to make the mark appear. So I'm like, why is there the arm just not have arm sleeves on?
Oh, fair enough.
I was a bit like, I think there's a couple of times in this where like I would purposely pause the episode to write something down and be like, this is going to get called on later on.
Yeah.
A couple of them are correct, a couple of them are wrong. So we'll get to them when we get to them.
They live in the...
yes.
The kingdom?
Yeah, correct.
Of...
They live in the kingdom... what is the name of it?
They're the prince, because we meet Kit Tantalos and her brother Eric. Eric is named after the warrior in the film.
Yes. Mad Morgan's friend who dies.
Eric, who dies in the battle. Yeah, and you have a very long and drawn-out death scene.
Yes.
It's however, I felt like Kit is actually quite a complex character. I ended up not liking Kit to start off with. I thought Kit was whiny, Kit was entitled, Kit was ignorant. But as the series went on and we learned more about her sort of depth and her insecurities and her doubts in herself, I ended thinking, wow, I actually really like Kit.
I quite enjoyed it. From the start, I was a bit similar. I was like, there's a bit... but she's
jealous.
Yeah.
She is.
But contrary to other people, I didn't like Eric.
You didn't like.
I didn't care for Eric.
I feel like the only time Eric was interesting is when he turned to the dark side.
Yeah,
when he was corrupted by the crown.
2 minutes at the end.
Yeah, 2 minutes at the end. No, the second to last episode when he walked out that door in the black outfit with the hair slicked back and the sword. I was like, you know what? He looks kind of cool.
Yeah.
I hope they do something interesting with it.
Yeah.
Not really.
No, so you've got Kit, who's this princess. She's getting married to a guy called Graydon, but she doesn't want to be married to him.
From the other kingdom.
Exactly. They're going to unite the kingdoms together, right? And then you've got Eric, who is this, like, guy who sleeps around.
Yeah, suave, and...
He's very
much...
He's the
prince. He's like the dashing Prince Charming. He's the suave. He's catching the girls.
Exactly. Has loads of partners. Doesn't stick around. Girls.
Yeah, loves all the exotic princesses.
Yes. Who ends up at the end of the...
But he's currently dating a girl called Dove.
Exactly.
That's not her actual name. Her actual name is Broomhilda.
Correct. I would have found it funny if we never found out her name. But we did. I would have preferred it if we didn't.
Okay. But it turns out that Broomhilda is Elora Dennett.
Correct.
Which we find out later in the episode when they go and meet Willow, because they realise that all is not well in the castle.
No.
When on the night of the betrothal between Kit and Graydon, who is played by the same guy who is in the Spider-Man films as
Correct.
Flash. As Flash Thompson, which I thought was funny.
Yeah.
The same guy. They realise that the castle is under a sneak attack.
Correct.
By they're called the Glades, the Gales?
I think it's the Gales, which, by the way...
The Gales.
Costume-wise, fantastic.
Amazing. I love that Raven. The design of that Raven woman, whoever her name is. They've all got... I saw them in the credits. They were named on the last episode of the credits.
Yes, I like the guy with the cage on his head.
Oh, that's called the Scourge. I remember his name.
Yeah.
Because he's played by... You might recognise his name. He's played by Jonas Sotomo.
Yes, I've got him.
The Finnish basketball player
who
also plays Chewbacca in Star Wars. I actually saw him. He tweeted about it. I was like, "What? He's in Willow?"
Yeah, I quite like him. I was liking his design.
Yeah, exactly. The cage on his head. He looks really big and intimidating and bulky.
Yeah.
The big suit there. I like the Raven woman. I like the guy with the whip. That one guy reminds me of the mouth of Sauron.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Like gnashing teeth, and he's got the sort of face shield.
Yeah.
It reminds me very much of the mouth of Sauron. That guy, and there's got the cool whip, and he rides on horseback like a headless horseman kind of thing.
But yeah,
these are servants of the Crone.
Exactly.
The Crone is our new big bad.
Yes, Bad Morda, thankfully, is not back.
No, Bad Morda does not return.
She is gone.
We see her in several flashbacks.
Yeah.
But Bad Morda doesn't return. However, we see a lot of Bad Morda's origin, that she was abducted and taken by this sort of sect of witches who are called the Order of the Worm.
Yep.
And the worm is this kind of god deity. It's always worms.
It's always worms.
It's always a worm.
Yeah.
There's this huge cataclysmic, almost god deity like worm creature that dwells under the world. Is that it? That lives under the world. We see a glimpse of it.
We do.
We see its like back or whatever. And I was like begging this last episode, show us the worm. I want to see this huge worm because we keep seeing it in like little symbols and flags and stuff. And we see its back, how big it is. Yes. And we're like, oh my god, it's massive. But we never see its full thing. And hopefully they show us in the second series if we get one.
They should do. But no, so you've got of them four, and you also got the last one. You've got who comes in at the end.
The girls attack.
Yes.
And they kidnap Eric, and that is the plot.
Yes.
The girls must go to the beyond the Shattered Sea.
Yes.
You must go to the Immortal City, to rescue Eric from the clutches of the Crone. On the team, we've got Kit.
Correct.
Kit Tantalos, who is a swordswoman adventurer. We've got Jade,
who is a knight.
A knight, her bodyguard,
who serves the queen.
Who serves the queen as well. We have Graydon decides to come.
Graydon
comes to play the flute. He thinks he's not very brave.
Yes.
He decides that he's going to, through this course of this quest, he sort of learns magic, or perhaps learns to become a sorcerer.
I take it that he knew it before. He's just
because he killed his brother. Spoilers. He killed his brother.
He just never done it before.
He was sort of possessed by some sort of magical power, and we never really knew what that was.
Yeah.
But he had sort of magic inside him that made him do things.
Yeah.
And then we realise the same magic is allowing him to use his flute as like almost a wand, because we see the magic wand, Willow's magic wand in this as well. It's given to Elora Denham.
Correct.
We have Elora Denham on the team as well. She's not called Broomhilda or Dove. She's actually she was sort of, I don't want to say brainwashed, but she was sort of taught to be someone else.
Well, yeah, she was told at a young age that she was someone else, and she decides just to not tell them and just essentially run away and just follow them.
Exactly, just to follow, because she wants to find Eric.
Yes.
But she always had that conviction in her, like she passed the magical barrier.
Yep.
There's a magical barrier around the city they live in, and she gets through it somehow, and I was like, at the time I was like, how is she doing that? And then I was thinking, maybe there's more to her than meets the eye.
Yep.
And there was indeed. She turned out to be Elora Denham, the prophesied empress and saviour of the world, the chosen one. George Lucas loves his chosen one.
He does. And then you got Borman.
Borman, who is the best character in this entire thing.
Yes, he is.
Borman is the one guy who just wants to go, screw it and have some fun.
Yeah.
Right? He is the one guy who's in it for the party.
Yeah.
He's in it for the good time.
Yeah.
He's a dab hand with an axe. He's a great warrior, skillful warrior. But he's also he's the fun guy. He's the comedy relief. I love Borman. Borman's
great. Borman is fantastic.
Big bushy beard. Love that on a man. Real show listeners will know that we love a big bushy beard on a man.
Exactly. Borman has a very big bushy beard.
Big bushy beard. Great hair as well.
Very
Great
long
hair.
Yes.
He's a scoundrel. He's a smuggler. He is all you want in your daring fantasy hero.
Yes.
Right? Everyone needs a guy like Borman in their crew. It's almost like you've got a D&D party. That's how
Pretty
I like
much.
it too. You've got your swords, you've got your swordsman, you've got your big heavy, your axe guy, you've got your magician.
Yeah.
And you've got Warwick Davis.
Yes.
Warwick Davis joins the team as Willow. He's in his fancy. He's High Aldwin. He's become High Aldwin of the Nilwyn village.
He has indeed. He's taken over.
Mm-hmm. He gives her he does the finger test. And she
gets
it wrong.
And
then I realise that the finger test probably is a complete placebo.
Yes.
And then he consults the bones. I popped for that. He consults the bones.
So this is what I mean. So the first couple episodes,
the references, they're heavy.
Full of them.
They go full nostalgia trip.
Yeah.
They go full. Just throw out all the references. Throw out everything. Acorns. Throw it all out there.
Exactly. It's completely just chock full of just stuff that relates to the other episodes. Yeah. Along with Willow, you get Silas.
Silas, who is
his trusty friend.
Nilwyn swordsman, Nilwyn hunter.
Does not appear in the Willow film. We both thought it was Migosh first.
Migosh, I thought it was Migosh.
It is not.
His voice.
No. And I believe that's because the actor that played Migosh has passed away.
Oh,
so they've kind of just added another character to take his place.
Yeah. But we also get Ralph Ineson, who plays Valentine, who is the head of the guards, who gets corrupted by the power of the Crone.
Yes.
And turns into kind of like a dark slave of the Crone.
Yeah. So this is how the Crones work.
Gets killed by Jade.
Essentially, they
take you over.
If they touch you, or if it's specifically their weapon or something,
the Gales take you over. Yeah.
You get corrupted and you turn evil. and you essentially just...
And they turns all of his men around him evil.
Yes.
And then they all go out as a hunting party to try and find... they're not successful, of course, because they're all killed by Jade and in the battle at Nockmaar.
Yes.
They're again, all the old locations.
Yep, Nockmaar's back.
Norwin Valley, you get Nockmaar.
You get a whole episode in Nockmaar.
Exactly, like, it's one of the best. I think it's
my favourite episode.
4. Yeah, exactly. It's a great episode where they try and force... Because
it's episode 4.
In the battle with the Gales... Graydon gets wounded, and obviously the dark infestation's taken over, and they have to come up with a magic remedy to solve his possession. And that's a really interesting episode, not only for the content and how much it adds to the magical lore of the world, but also I love seeing Willow and an aged up Elora Denham interact now.
Yeah,
because I think back to the film, I think back to when he was just carrying her around as a baby. And they reference the disappearing pig trick loads of times.
They do.
And it's nice to see it's like watching the Star Wars sequels almost. Like Episode 7, you know. When you first watched The Force Awakens. When you first watched The Force Awakens, and it's that fresh feeling of new characters in the same world, but it was similar events. And you get the same thing here. Elora Denham's trying to do this summoning spell on like a little seed.
It's like a tree, it's a seed, yeah.
She goes, Hawartha, do Hawartha, whatever.
Something like that.
And she's trying to say it over and over again, but it's not working. And she gets so frustrated, and she's like, I can't... And I always thought, it's like you're a Jedi and you learn to use the Force. Yeah. It's never going to work the first time. No. You've always got to try harder. Concentration, he says, is a point of the magic, isn't it?
Yes. Emotion is the essence. Yeah. No, it's the bloodstream of the universe, that's what it is. Also, again, reminiscing of the first film, where he tries to turn... what's the female sorceress in the first film called? Who was like a weasel or whatever.
Who? The other female wizard. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Because again, Willow tries to do that. It takes him a while. Doesn't get it straight away.
He turns her into a goat, turns her into a crow.
Yeah.
And she's initially like a mongoose or whatever.
She's like I forgot what it is. It's like a weasel or something.
Yeah, like a weasel, yeah.
But the ragtag of characters in this,
I enjoy the ragtag
really
of
good.
I love a fantasy party.
So do I.
A fantasy party in anything is my favourite thing. Just they've all got different skills. They're all interacting together. They're on a quest. That's something I really... It's like the D&D feeling almost.
It does... It is more of a... Rather than like Lord of the Rings, which is a high stakes war, this is more of a... You just sat around and you're playing a tabletop game.
Exactly. Yeah. You run into the Bone Reavers. The Bone Reavers ambush you at the camp. What do you do?
Especially at certain points. Is it episode 4? Would you get the kind of comedy scenes of like Borman having a shower?
Yeah.
It's just...
And it's done like a shampoo commercial. I remember it's like a wow. You get the music and he's flipping his hair back. He's like, oh.
It's great. It's
like
it's just...
And I'm like, I was literally thinking this is a L'Oreal commercial. You could slap that logo on there.
It just
because you're worth it.
Exactly.
Because you're Borman.
It feels like just a bunch... Whoever made this, the directors, the writers, the producers or whatever, just sat down and just went, right, what can I do? Someone just went...
It's almost...
Let's do a shower scene.
Some of it's spoof level to the point. Some of it's like very funny sort of spoof level. Like that shower scene.
Yeah.
The scene with the brownies.
Yes.
I think it's the same episode. Where they do get captured by the Bone Reavers.
It's the same place. Probably is the same episode, actually, yeah.
And they find out the brownies have been living there.
Yes.
And it's one of them.
Yeah. Because again, I think the other one has passed away.
Yeah, unfortunately.
It's...
I think it's a smaller brownie.
It's the smaller one.
Yes.
It's the one...
They're both small, obviously.
More idiotic.
Yeah. He's like, hey, Willow!
Yeah.
And it's been a long time since I've seen you, man! You know, like that.
Yeah.
And he's got like a wife or a daughter.
It's his daughter.
Sleep all the time.
Yeah.
And then the neighbours live up in the house above them are shouting at them. I thought that was great. That was great commentary there.
But no, it's a very, very fun.
He draws them a map because they're trying to get to the Immoral City.
Correct.
And that is across the Shattered Sea.
Yes.
Which is the most fearsome place in
no
the land of...
No map goes further.
No map goes further than Shattered Sea. Everything ends in Shattered Sea. There is no way other. The world just stops.
Yes.
Obviously, considering as the world is round, I know what...
Yeah, but in I think we discussed this before.
Right.
If in Willow, is it round or is it flat or is it just not mentioned?
Well, it ends.
Yeah, that's the thing. We've discussed
this. Is that just a waterfall?
We've discussed this off camera.
Is this just a continent? Is it a continent and is it just a waterfall?
We need to wait and see if...
And there's a lower continent at the bottom.
Yeah.
That is where the Immoral City is.
Yeah.
Or is it just like a teleporter or something like that? Because they do reach the end of the... the Shattered Sea. They fight off the Gales. They learn a bit of magic. There's a great training montage. They love a good training montage in this.
Yes.
Love a good training montage. How to use your wand, how to use a sword. Then they get to the end of the chapter. By the way, also great. There's so many weird cameos in this. If you realise that, there's so many weird cameos because this was filmed like at peak COVID times. This was filmed basically under the heaviest of restriction.
Yeah, well, you've got weird boatman.
Weird boatman. That's Julian Glover.
Yes.
You realise that is General Veers from Star Wars. That is Maester Pycelle.
Yeah, like a guy who essentially runs a, I don't even know what you'd call it. Yeah,
runs like a almost like
it's kind of like a fisherman.
Yeah, fisherman. Yeah, fisherman's shack.
Yeah,
and he has like a sled. That he has a sled with
like this weird fish.
Mudmander, I think it's called.
And he goes and collects fish, and then there's like, but he's not really a man. He's like there's like multiple of him.
Oh no, that was. I thought that was one of the Gales. One of the Gales was the shapeshifter.
Maybe, yeah.
And turned into him, but he was fine.
Because they all end up running away and escaping.
Yeah, exactly, because they realise it's one of the Gales. Because one of the Gales can shapeshift. The Raven one can shapeshift. So she'd shapeshift into him to try and trick them. But then Graydon sees him just walk out. The actual guy. And he's like, there's supposed to be two of them. That's how they figure it out.
And then there's also the two women in the woods in like episode 3.
They're great cameos as well.
Who literally turn up.
Chopping wood.
Yeah, turn up, chop wood. Act really weirdly.
They give this massive. One of them gives this massive speech about rising up and fighting back and saving the world.
Yeah, and then
she just gets.
They both die.
Killed by Valentine. Yeah, corrupted Valentine turns up.
Yes.
And goes, "You've got to give me the girl. I'm Ralph Ineson. I always play a character like this." And then the woman, the action woman, goes, "No, we're going to stand up. We're going to fight back. We're going to fight the darkness power." And he just kills her.
They both die. And I assume the whole reason of that is to give Allura some regret of being like, I shouldn't reveal who I am.
I caused such carnage and I caused such destruction.
But there's a couple of bits
Christian
like that.
Slater is in this.
True.
As Allagash, who is a friend of Mad Mardigan, who was captured in Skellin, which is the sort of troll mines.
Yep. Yes, the one thing I like about this is that they recognise, right, okay, we haven't got Valkyrie. Mad Mardigan's not turning up.
Yeah.
We can't just ignore him, because arguably the fan favourite character of the first film. Mm. And so how do we get around it? Okay, we've got Borman. And we've got
Allagash. He knows Mad Mardigan. Yeah. Borman's kind of like our character that is somewhat like Mad Mardigan.
Yeah, no, okay, we've got Borman.
They're looking for the chameleon Cuirass.
And we're like, okay, right.
Which has the key, it fits into the armour, and it gives you superpowers. And it may give you like a suit of armour.
Yeah, and we're like, okay, right. There's this other guy now, who's Allagash, who
calls himself Mad Mardigan at the start, but they know he's not. Willow knows he's Allagash.
And then, essentially, they're like, right, okay, we're going to have these two characters who are both connected to Mad Mardigan.
Yes.
Borman apparently betrayed Mad Mardigan. Borman says he doesn't.
No, it was Allagash.
Says he does.
Yeah.
So you're waiting for it, and they meet up, and then they're like, it's weird because they both seem to like each other, but also hate each other. It's very weird.
It's very much like a friendship relationship.
Yeah, it's like
sometimes you do hate your friends.
It's like they shout each other's names like they're happy to see each other, and then start beating each other up.
And at the end of the episode, they're just slapping each other with a cuirass. They go into Wiggelheim. Yeah. Wiggelheim's treasure trove, which looks like Legends of the Hidden Temple almost. Yes. They go in there and they find Mad Mardigan's sword. But Mad Mardigan's gone through this wormhole.
Yeah, he's gone.
Kit wants to go.
He's gone through this hole where you have to leave everything behind. And so he's like talking to her, telling her to like not come back here, essentially.
Yeah.
So whatever
Kit
he's
wants
doing.
to go, and her friends have to drag her out.
Yes.
And meanwhile, on this sort of hill which they're all sitting on, Allagash and Borman are just fighting each other and just beating each other with the cuirass, just going bang, 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 like that. That's quite funny. However, they're there in Skellin because they get captured by the trolls.
Correct.
Which they're captured by trolls while they're in the forest with the Bone Reavers.
Yes.
And the Bone Reavers are a gang of raiders, pirates.
Yep.
Smugglers, people who are doing dirty deeds in the forest. But it turns out they are ancestors of General Kale.
Correct.
Which was a favourite idea of ours from the film. Big man wearing a skull mask.
Who appears in the 4th episode.
Yes, very briefly. Sort of Darth Vader Dagobah style, if you realise that.
It's like his ghost appears.
Appears in the castle, which I really like.
Yes.
It's like his ghost is haunting the castle.
Yeah, because he turns up with Jade.
In Nockmaar, fights Jade.
And initially, there's why? Because there's no connection there.
I realised it is more like Darth Vader and Dagobah now, because Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's father.
Yes.
And it turns out that General Kale is Jade's father.
Yes. Yeah, this is essentially Jade is now found out that, wait a minute, I'm now part of his family.
She thought that the Bone Reavers had killed her parents.
Yes.
You thought Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your father.
Yeah.
He told me enough. He told me you killed him. No, Jade, I am your father.
And now this is kind of, every character has something in the series, which is kind of that's their arc fulfilled.
Yeah.
For Jade, it's pretty much this, which is now, she was with the Queen, but now she has a family which is completely against the Queen, pretty much. And obviously there's stuff with her and Kit, which we'll get into at some point. But she had this. Borman has the cuirass, and is he worthy? He isn't, which he accepts.
But this is the blossoming romance between Kit and Jade.
Yes.
Which I was really happy for.
I was happy for it.
It was just a legitimate romance between two people who Kit's like the, kind of emo.
Yeah.
Sort of one of, I don't think I've got any friends. No one likes, no one wants to be around me. I'm, oh, woe is me, that kind of thing. And Jade is the more upbeat, kind of feisty one. Yep. And they get along really well.
Again,
and
also why I like Borman, because Borman does not miss a chance to make it blatantly obvious that they both like each other.
Exactly.
Any chance he gets.
Why I love Borman. Borman knows the obvious. Borman's like, you guys, you're going to be together. Just, kiss or something.
It's great. I love him so much.
Me too. Borman, stand out. Shout out to you, Borman. They're in the forest. They're about to have some kissing, some smooching in the forest. But then the trolls arrive.
Yep.
The trolls kidnap Kit and Willow and take them to Skellen. Skellen is their sort of slave mine.
Yes, which Borman has escaped before.
Yes. Borman has escaped.
He has escaped before.
Skellen before, exactly.
That's what he says.
Allagash is in Skellen.
He is.
They run into him, and they run into my second favourite character, who is the sort of troll administrator.
Are you on about the smart one?
The smart one. The smart one who speaks really elegantly. And there's one point where he seems to be pointing out the flaws in the show's very concept.
Yeah.
Because the guy, it's like assistant, his brother, whatever his name is. They're walking down the hallway, and his brother goes, "If those prisoners escape, they'll escape the Skellen, and they'll reveal what we're doing with this dark elixir. Our power has come from this dark elixir." And the other troll stops him and goes, "You know what? Why did you just explain that to me like I was 5? He stops him and he goes, "Yeah, just explain to me like I'm a child. I already know that."
Initially, when I first heard this speak, I was like, "Oh God, why? Why does he?" I was like, "That's not a voice that trolls have." But
I was entertained by that.
But then I gave it like a couple minutes. I was like, "Actually, you know what? Fair play. This works." Because he's the only one that speaks in that way.
Speaks like that.
I'm like, okay, right, fine.
And he's obviously in charge. He's obviously the most intelligent one.
Exactly. He's got the intellect.
Exactly. He's got the intellect all over the other trolls. And I read that was an element of troll society that when we see the trolls in the film, they're like big, hulking, scary monsters who are like, "Rah!" and they can crawl everywhere, and they're very beastly. Yeah. But here we see there's element of troll society. It's like you learn more about what they're about.
They've got a routine. They've got plans.
They have this kind of. Is it the same stuff in the Immoral City? The sort of orange water or the yellow water they drink from?
See, I was thinking it was
that they mine. It gives them the sort of power, like a lava almost.
Yeah. And they all wear their suits.
They wear their suits, yeah.
Borman's got a suit on.
Yeah.
They all got a suit on.
They take Graydon away because they think Graydon is...
They told Graydon... I forgot what it is. They told Graydon...
They're disguised as trolls in mining suits, and they're coming along. And the troll stops and goes, "You, there's been a spillage on floor 1C. We need you to go check it out." And Graydon's like, I was going to go do something else.
Yeah.
But they just take him. They just push him along.
The thing that I love is as well, again, part of this is where they're all walking around and then obviously putting out, I love when they put out stuff that obviously the viewers are thinking. They go, Borman, like, you feel like, "Oh, you're not going to believe you're a troll because you're 6 foot. And he goes, "It's the acting that sells it." it's like my performance.
That was funny, I do remember that.
My performance sells it. And like, you know what? You've made sense of that now. That's not a flaw. That's on purpose.
It's completely wiped away the concern.
Yeah.
Because they go, "Of course you're not a troll. You're not as tall as the rest of the trolls." He goes, "Well, it's the performance that sells it."
I'm like, you know what? You can get rid of anything, Borman. Do whatever you want.
Exactly, Borman. You can do whatever you like.
But no, they wear the suits. Graydon is just gone for like
Graydon's
most of it.
So goofy.
He has Warwick's wand, I believe.
Yes.
Because Alora's wand is dropped.
She just drops on the floor. And I realised that Jade tells her, is she with Jade? I think.
Yeah.
Or Kit, and and they ask her, what if Willow asks about the wand? He goes, he won't ask about the wand, just leave it, just don't mention it, right? And I thought to myself, the first question Willow's going to ask is, where's the wand? And he does.
Yeah.
When they reunite again, it gives, obviously, he's with Kit, because they've been in prison together. Willow goes up to Elora, his first question is, where's the wand? He goes, I might have dropped it.
Yeah. And then he goes, where's my wand? And he goes, Graydon's got it.
With the staff. His staff. He goes, where's my staff? He goes, Graydon's got it. He goes, where's Graydon? He's off with the trolls.
Somewhere else.
Exactly. And Willow says something like, we're going to have words later. Yeah, or something like that. And I'm like, I just love Willow kind of in sort of angry dad mode.
Yeah.
It's like, there's a piece of trivia from the first film where Warwick says, where on the DVD commentary of the film, when Elora is sick on, she throws up on Willow, Warwick thinks that initially that was inaccurate to having a child just want to immediately be sick on someone. But then when Warwick became a father, he realised that commentary is quite apt and realistic.
Yeah.
So he completely agrees with it now. And this felt like sort of Warwick in almost dad mode with Elora. Like Elora's his teenage daughter, rebellious teenage daughter, won't go along with what he's saying, and he's trying to be calm and try to educate her about this stuff. But sometimes he's just completely hopeless at it, because he even says when they eat are they called truth melons or whatever they're called? Kind of sweet
truth
fruits.
berries, I think.
Truth berries.
Yep.
They eat the truth berries, and Graydon and I keep calling him Warwick. Graydon and Warwick are laughing with each other.
Yeah.
And he goes, I'm not actually a great sorcerer. I'm just an old aging hack.
Yeah.
Who's put it over. I defeated Bavmorda by pure chance, and he did.
Yeah, this is something that comes up a lot, because at certain points where they're like, "Oh, Willow, you should tell them what you did." Like, and it does eventually get unveiled in the final episode. They show like a, I don't know what you call it, like a projection of Willow defeating Bavmorda by using a pig trick. I'm like, okay, sure, he didn't defeat it by sword. It still worked.
Exactly.
It worked.
She was hoisted on her own petard.
Yeah.
Because she knocked over the whatever it was, red smoke juice, or whatever it was called.
Yeah.
And it kind of swallowed her up, and she got evaporated.
The only thing that I don't like about Kit and kind of Jay, but mainly Kit, because again, Elora, because it happens because when Willow says he's a bad sorcerer, Elora hears it and she kind of storms off. There's a lot of stuff like this where, like, in the first episode or second, Kit's like, I'm going to run away. And Jay's like, oh, you do whatever you want, I'm going to stay here. And then they'd be like, the second episode, Jay would upset Kit. And in the third episode, Kit would upset Jade.
Yeah, there's a lot of infighting.
There's a lot of back and forth.
I always thought two characters are having a conversation now. I wonder how they'll fall out with each other.
Because like Jay's like, I'm gonna go look for her. You do whatever you want, and I'm like,
it's like, can you? Kit falls out with Elora.
Yeah.
Elora falls out with Graydon.
Yeah.
Graydon falls out with Borman. Borman does some antic. Rinse, repeat.
It got a bit tiresome. It wasn't bad.
I was almost like, there was points where I was thinking, just stop fighting, just have an actual educated conversation. Where you try and reach a conclusion.
Because it's only really Jade and Kit. Kit is suspicious of Elora until Kit finds the tree.
Yeah.
And then kind of goes, I forgot what she said. She's never going to let me hear the end of this or something. Which is good. I like the fact that Kit finds a tree, because eventually it leads to Kit telling Elora that you made the tree work, and then Elora then starts to believe in herself again. You've made it grow,
she believes that she's the magic. And it is actually Kit at the end, when they're at the end of the Shattered Sea, who realises that Elora is the key.
Yes.
Elora is the saviour, so she has to do what her father did and put her life on the line. So that's why they jump over the end of the edge of the world, the end of the Shattered Sea, to arrive in the Immoral City.
Because again, everyone has their own mini arc, which is Borman is Vacuras, and because at the start he's like, you can pardon all of you or whatever you've done. He's captured by Sorcerer.
He's captured by Sorcerer, yeah.
So we find out what that is. For Kit, it's being a princess and finding her brother Eric, and Jade. For Jade, it's Kit, and also, is she servant to Sorcerer? What should you do with the Bone Reavers?
The Bone Reavers, who are a real family, we find out.
Willow is him somewhat believing in himself and also trying to figure out how you teach someone stuff.
Yeah.
And Graydon is like, I need to get confidence.
Or has come to terms with his inner confidence and his sort of inner...
Because I'm going to be king. Yes. My dad expects so much of me. But also, Graydon likes Dove.
Yeah,
there's a weird thing going on there.
Laura, as well.
Which I thought was going to go somewhere. It hasn't yet. It didn't go to where I thought it was.
Not really.
That's my only somewhat issue is is that everyone in this has like some romance thing, and like it kind of takes away from Jade and Kit.
Out. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
because Graydon likes Dove. Dove kind of likes Graydon.
Kit is the biggest romance and the most supported one.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna feel like that's the one I want to see. I want to see Jade and Kit, but everyone else is kind of like I don't really care for Graydon's weird crush on Elora.
Well, they like each, and then
Elora going after Eric. Maybe Elora going after Eric because that does persuade Dove, as she was called then, to follow the group. Yes. Maybe Elora and Eric.
Yeah.
And Kit and Jade is the more.
Because then you've got obviously because Graydon likes Elora. And obviously, Borman has one, but that's pre-established.
Yeah, pre-established. Pre-established is fine.
Yeah. The only thing I can think of is obviously if this isn't scheduled for another series, I'm going to assume,
even though it's heavily teased,
2 more series.
Because at the end there's
3 books.
I don't want to say it's a post-credit scene. There's 3 books. Yeah, there is 3 books.
And the whole every episode starts 1 book.
Yeah, 1 book opening and then closing, and then
it's like chapter 1.
End of the series, we see the hand put the book back, and there's 3 books.
And there's 2 more. So
2 more series.
We're going to assume they're pitching for 2 more series. But at the end, there's a whole fight. Eric is in this like sand place.
Yeah.
A female appears and she's like, "Oh, how did we get here?"
I think I recognise her actress. I don't know who it is. I don't recognise her actress.
So how do we? Oh, who are you? You're not going to swoon me.
She says she's a kidnapped princess or something like that. But it turns out that she's the crone.
She is the crone who's trying to persuade Eric to like. He's already drinking stuff anyway.
This orange water.
Yeah.
Which is like the worm juice, I call it.
Yes, pretty much.
Sort of the milk of the worm.
Yeah.
Drinking the milk of the worm, which sounds a bit suggestive.
Yeah.
And then actually changes his mind into being sort of corrupted by the darkness, by the dark power of the crone.
Yes.
Then it's revealed once Kit and Elora arrive at the Immoral City, and the friends go with them. Eventually, their friends go with them. They end up chapter 2 because obviously it just ends in like a big waterfall. They have to jump off the waterfall to land in the Immoral City.
Yeah.
Borman, Graydon, and Jade go.
Yes.
And eventually Willow does end up going as well, but not till later because he's worried about Mimps, his daughter, at the village, who may be in trouble.
Which is played by Walt's actual daughter.
Is it really?
Yep.
I didn't know that. Oh, wow.
I didn't until like yesterday.
Oh.
It's his actual daughter.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's really good.
Then, when they get to the Immoral City, which, by the way, is an amazing CGI render, that city looks absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
It reminds me so much of, like, not Game of Thrones, but like a Song of Ice and Fire, of, like, one of the book locations. Because all the locations in the book are, like, 10 times the size of the locations in the show, right?
Correct.
Probably because of, budgetary reasons or whatever. But that Immoral City looks absolutely fantastic.
It's great.
I love that. I love that CGI design. Just the big statues, how it looks like the whole thing looks like a huge maze with the street blocks and stuff. That all looks incredible. All of the sets really do. I love the walking around in the forest. I just love walking around in the forest. Forest adventuring I really enjoy. As I say, one of my favourite fantasy landscapes is big open fields, and we get some of that. We get open fields as well.
Do indeed. But
they get to the city.
Correct.
They defeat the Gales with the help of Borman and Jade, and also the camouflage scene I thought was quite hilarious as well. He's covering himself in this dust. He's like, "There's no one here. Where are we camouflaging ourselves from?"
Yeah.
And Borman goes, "They'll be watching us."
Yes.
Because but no one's around. He goes, "Yeah, that's exactly why."
Yeah. Well, when Jade makes a fair point of, if they can't see us and we can't see them, then we're not hiding from anyone.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, that's fair.
He goes, "Yeah, it's fair, whatever."
Because he
drops it and they carry on. Then they go and meet the crone, and the crone is not actually a beautiful lady.
No.
He's actually Supreme Leader Snoke.
Yeah, pretty much.
This sort of tall, crowned figure who's got his face sort of deteriorated so much, got messed up by something. This old lady who can shoot lightning from her hands, Emperor Palpatine style. And then having a big CGI magic fight like the end of Harry Potter.
Pretty much.
Where they fire lasers at each other. They're firing magic pew 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 at each other like that. But it turns out that Eric has been obviously corrupted by the power of the crone. They have to remove that power once he's defeated because he has to fight Kit, and Kit has to... And realize that Eric wasn't Elora's story, Eric was Kit's story.
Yeah. So, I remember this being at the end and being like, right, okay, Eric is now, for like 2 minutes, he's the bad guy now.
Yes.
It's gone into him. And I kind of thought, right, this was great, because for the next, like, series or 2...
Yeah,
it's.
You think they'd leave on Eric?
I thought he would be it for ages, and it's like that's how it ends.
That would be interesting,
but it doesn't. He's like 2 minutes, he's evil, and he gets like beaten, and then he gets taken out.
He gets his butt whooped by Kit, and then he just because obviously she has the Cuirass.
She's got the Cuirass. She is worthy of the Cuirass.
Worthy of the Cuirass because Borman keeps going like, "There's a moment to activate it. It's not right now."
Yeah, And we see him sat on the ship. It doesn't work.
He's not worthy, and it's Kit that has to wear the cuirass to have that super-powered armor.
Yeah. Eric is defeated, and then what happens?
It's Allura that...
Yes. At this point, they end up thinking Graydon's dead because
the crone dusts him.
Yes.
Because he tries to go to this gateway, this magical gateway. Allura and Kit go to it, but they're not seduced.
Yeah.
Graydon goes over, and Graydon's been trying to fight the crone with the magic. The crone just goes, miss me, and dusts him. And Laura's like, no, we get that great moment.
So they all think he's gone.
I don't think he's gone, but it turns out at the end he's alive, and he awakes in the battle.
He awakes in the battle, which is what Willow's visions has always been.
That the world would come to an end in a huge battle where Laura Denham must be killed for the world to be saved.
Correct.
But it turns out that wasn't the truth.
No.
The truth was what Graydon finds out when he awakes in the same battle, in the same dream.
Yes.
That Elora Denham has turned to the dark side.
Yeah. So this is a weird thing
and
where
is leading the army of trolls.
I guess now, instead of Eric being the evil one, it's Graydon for the next two... I don't know how
I thought it was Allura. I thought it would be Allura.
Yeah, but if he's been put through, he's probably going to get...
Oh, he's going to see it's Allura. Yeah. He's going to see whatever this is as Allura.
Because this is the thing. Because if he's been pulled through, we're going to assume he's not going to just turn up in Season 2, but I'm back, or whatever.
Right, yeah.
So is he now going to be working for the evil Allura? Or is it... that's the only thing I'm like...
Will there be an evil Allura? Is it a clone situation? Is there two Alluras?
Because if Graydon is alive, at some point he needs to be revealed back to the main gang.
Right.
So is he going to be good when he comes back, or is he going to be evil, or is he going to have to try and explain, there's an evil thing that I've seen where you're not good, and they don't believe... how are we going to bring him back into the fold? That's the only thing. I would have preferred it if Eric was evil still, and they had to fight him for 2 seasons. But...
Corey put a rating on every episode of this. I'm going to mention it's in his notes. He's got quite a lot of them.
I do.
Anything else you'd like to rattle off before we go to a couple of ratings?
Okay. Yes, the ending of every episode
has a real
really
human
good.
Song in it.
Well, no, the first 2 don't, but the first 2 get cut off very quickly.
I'm going to say that is a slight problem I've had with the series. Imagine if this was Star Wars, right?
Yep.
Imagine if you're watching The Mandalorian and it ended in a person's or a human song, an Earth song, let's call it, human music. Not orchestral fantasy music. I'd have an issue with that. And I kind of did here.
I didn't mind it.
Granted, Enter Sandman, awesome. But some of the choices were a bit puzzling. And I was like, I don't think I really like the ending when they sort of use human music. Why don't they use fantasy music?
I didn't mind it.
They didn't do that in the film.
No, they didn't. But the first episode ends really quickly. The second episode ends with Laura getting punched, and it cuts back to the credits. The ending 3s are fantastic. What else have we got?
Sure, I like the ending graphics. The sort of the fancy
ending
drawings
graphics
of the
good.
book look really cool.
Anything we
and how they're coloured in as the music plays.
Oh, Silas dies, by the way.
Yeah, Silas. Yeah.
In a battle.
So does Valentine.
Correct.
Any other notes you have?
Graydon betrayal montage. Eric. Borman also is presumed dead and then comes back at the end.
Yeah,
forgot about that.
Oh yeah, because Borman has to fight off the rest of the Gales.
Yes,
and says, "I'm gonna end this world how I began."
Yeah. And but he isn't dead. He does come back out at the end.
And then he says, "Got it? Who's got the butter, lads?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "That's a line to go out on. That's what I want to go out on. Who's got the butter, lads?" Or whatever, something like that.
Yeah, but no, the series what I wanted from the series was something fun, something a bit lighthearted.
It had those moments.
I got it enough.
The CGI was kind of almost too good for the standard. The magic CGI looked really good. It looks kind of like not perfect lines, but kind of like hexing spines of shooting out from the wand or the staff. Yeah.
But no, I overall got enjoyment out of this.
Yeah.
Unlike what seems to be a lot of people who don't like this.
Yeah.
I actually find it quite fun.
There may be just a little tease. There may be a second part to this review. We may have more to say. Who knows? But as for now, we can drop our ratings on this. I didn't rate every episode. Obviously, no. I didn't binge them. I watched them over the course of a week, one every day, and Corey did. Go ahead and binge it, whatever, Corey. That's well within your right.
It's very rare for me to binge.
Is it?
It is. I'm not normally a binger.
Uh-huh.
I watched about 2 episodes and thought, I need to finish this.
Oh, fair enough. You were hooked.
I was.
But do you have an overall rating? Corey's done some maths.
Uh-huh.
Corey's done some quick maths.
Well, no, I didn't do maths.
Right.
I googled average calculator and just put in every single rating for the episode, and it gave me the average.
Right.
So that's what my final rating is.
This is the mathematically sound.
Yes.
You know they say all men are created equal.
Yep.
But I've got some math for you here, right?
So I gave every single rating my own rating.
Okay.
Went on Google, typed in average calculator, put in every single rating.
We rated every single episode, put all the episodes into a calculator, calculate the average, and the average mathematically sound, scientifically sound average rating for Willow, the series, is...
For me, it's a 7.5.
Oh, that's mathematical. There's no doubt there. That is mathematical fact, ladies and gentlemen. 7.5.
Which is higher. IMDb's got a 5.6.
Right.
Technically, yes, it's like a 7.49.
You know, if you give it that, I'm going to give it... My initial rating was a 7.
You see,
but now that you've given it that 0.5, I feel like I have to bump it up as well.
My initial
I feel like I have to give it an 8.
I originally thought 7.5 is too low, but like 8's too high. But now I'm kind of like, no, 7.5 is fine.
7.5 maybe is that nice middle ground. I might drop it back to a 7 actually, now you've said that.
To be fair, it's a bit
It was floating around 7 and 8. I agree that 8 was too high, I thought. And 7 was maybe too low. I thought 6 was far too much of an insult.
It got lucky because at the first 3 episodes, like episode 4, like I said, was my favourite. It slowly went up and up and up.
Yeah, it does.
Then it crashed.
It did crash.
But then the ending
picked
it back up again.
There was a definite crash. I feel like if this had been maybe 6 episodes, just a bit longer, maybe if it was like an hour and a half, and maybe if this was 6 episodes instead of 8, I feel like... I feel like they could have got more out of it.
Because the lowest I went
and
to...
made it more palatable.
The lowest was... my lowest rating for an episode was 6.
Right.
My highest was a 9.
Okay, which episode got a 9?
4.
4,
the one in the castle.
Not more, sorry.
But no, I thought overall, it was fairly... It's good enough to where if there's a second season, which I kind of want it to be, but I will watch the second season and be somewhat looking forward to it coming out. It's stuck the landing enough.
Excellent.
For me to be excited for.
And that is probably the best thing we can say about Willow the series. Thank you for that, Corey. That was an incredible review. But we have one more little morsel, and that is our weekly rec.
Correct.
What is the weekly rec this week, Corey?
So it was originally going to be a 10-minute behind-the-scenes video on the Willow TV series.
Mm-hmm.
I watched it. It's not official. It's by a channel called Stream Wars. And it's all right. It's just a lot of like... It's not what I wanted from behind the scenes.
Okay.
So instead, there's a recommended video. It was recommended.
Oh, is this what I think it is?
No.
Okay, probably not.
No. It was on the sidebar, and I thought, you know what? I can slide this in.
Right.
To make
what
this
is
a rec. It's from Corridor Crew. It's VFX artist react to amazing movie props with Adam Savage.
Okay.
Essentially, it's just Adam Savage.
Mythbusters.
Yeah, it's just Adam Savage for 20 minutes showing off random props he's made from like films.
Right. Okay.
He goes through like he's made himself a Chewbacca helmet that moves, a couple Matrix stuff. It's just really good fun.
Would you give it a rating?
I give it an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10.
It's just good fun.
That is Corridor, the YouTube channel Corridor Crew. They're very famous for their VFX breakdowns and CGI work.
And you know, Willow first film especially used practical effects.
Mm.
You know, stuff like that.
That dragon comes back. The two-headed dragon comes back at the end of the series.
You also have a little wolf were-rats.
Devil dogs, they're called.
Yeah.
The devil dogs come back. They're CGI now, I think. When last time they were Rottweilers wearing masks, so it was funny.
Well, yeah, but there's the rat thing with Borman's underneath.
The were-rats. Yeah, the were-rats.
They've got 2 heads. They're quite nice.
Mm. While we're recommending things, I may say this if we end up doing a part 2.
Yep.
I may end up putting this as a weekly rec, so I won't say it just yet.
Mm-hmm.
But there is one thing with Willow that's almost like... Did you ever watch Warwick Davis's Life's Too... Is it called Life's Too Short?
I've heard of it.
Gervais?
Yeah.
That's almost very style like that. And I really like that. So if we end up doing a part 2 for this Willow review, which we might do, I will recommend that. However, little tease there. I hope you enjoyed our review of the Disney Plus series Willow. All 8 episodes are out now if you want to watch them.
Correct.
Thank you very much for listening. It is a goodbye from me, goodbye, and a goodbye from Corey.
Goodbye.